So yeah, I saw Spectre.
Yeah, okay, cool.
You also saw Spectre.
I did indeed.
Did you like it?
I liked it. I didn't like it as much as Skyfall, but I did like it. So did you hate it?
Well, I think we'll get to that. But
Okay.
before then, I wonder, do you want to talk about the best part of the film easily?
What is it?
Oh, come on, you can guess what was the best part of the film.
Is it when he beats Batista and then they just immediately have sex afterwards? Like a hard cut to them having sex? Because that made me laugh.
That didn't make me laugh at all because I predicted that.
Oh, yeah, I kind of predicted it, but it still made me laugh because I thought, like, surely that's a bit too much. But no, they went for it. What was the best part of the movie? Was it Monica Bellucci's 5 seconds of of screen time?
No, it was the pre-credits scene.
The pre-credit scene.
Yeah.
Where he gets his car back?
No, where he goes to a party, goes on the roof, and then blows the house up.
Oh right. When he goes on the couch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That bit was a bit. Ugh. I didn't find it that good at all, actually.
No.
No.
I mean,
Wait, good isn't dumb. Did you find it like funny or?
No, I mean like just before then he like walks on the camera follows him and stuff like that.
Oh, on the and the terrible CGI. Is that what you're talking about?
Well. Yeah, there was that. I do remember this terrible CGI. I do remember that, but I ignored it. I did notice it though.
I didn't like that sequence. I didn't really like the beginning. I liked the opening tracking shot, but then afterwards it just was ridiculous. It started to look like a Die Another Day.
Oh, like right. Yeah.
Levels of shitty CGI'd action.
Oh yeah, like the scene where he is surfing.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I liked it though.
Okay, fair enough. I like the rest of the movie. Well, I didn't like the ending so much.
Well, I thought technically this film was pretty well made, apart from the few CGI shots that weren't very good.
Well, I mean, yeah, because the cinematographer is my favorite, Hoyt van Hoytema. He's amazing. Well, obviously he's in my favorite movie, Tinker Sailor Soldier Spy, but he made me enjoy Interstellar, even though the plot was not its strongest suit. Made up for it by it looking really amazing.
I think it's the same thing with Spectre.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's not an awful plot. Well,
we'll get to that in a few seconds. But before then, the sound mix. I wanted to say something about the sound mix. I liked it at first, but then after a while it became a bit predictable because, repetitive. I mean, because there are at least 3 action scenes. There could be more, but I've forgotten about them. Yeah. But there are at least 3 action scenes that have the exact same structure of sound mixing.
Oh dear.
So it starts off with a regular build-up to an action scene. Then the action scene starts. They fight in relative silence with only like stock punch sound effects.
Yeah.
And then after a stronger punch, the music kicks back in.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
The first time that happened, I liked it. The second time, I noticed it. And then the third time, I thought, okay, the music is gonna cut about now. Boom, music kicks in.
Yeah. It was a lot. Probably that problem has a lot to do with the fact that a lot of the action scenes were outdoors. Like it was Skyfall. There more than were indoors, and so you're able to not have to do everything in post because some of the sound in the actual like footage, like the sound on stage was a lot cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
So then, I don't know. I think that's not the only reason. Obviously, if it's the same structure every single time, then clearly, they could have changed that up a bit. But the fact is, they had to for each action scene, they basically had to put in a whole loads of stock sound, more stock sound than in Skyfall. And so they ended up following a pattern or whatever. But yeah, because that was one thing that I didn't like as much in this one that was good in Skyfall was the action scenes were. Other than the opening action scene in Skyfall, there's a lot more indoor stuff, and indoor stuff is actually, the sound is easier to control, and it was a bit more restrained as well.
I remember in Skyfall there was this amazing action scene which was basically almost entirely in shadows, and there were like jellyfish floating around in the background. I really like that one, but there wasn't one like that in this one.
No, the big one in this one was the car chase scene, but the car chase scene was kind of dull because there's absolutely nothing going on in the background. It's literally just cars.
It looked like a car commercial.
Yeah, exactly. It was. It probably was.
Yeah, well, obviously it was, but it was an obvious one. That's my problem.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you can make
but you
can make an advert, and you can make an advert interesting. Like I have seen interesting product placements in films, and especially in anime, I've seen a lot of great product placements. But here it was pretty dull.
Why would companies want to be advertised in like hentai porn? All that creepy shit. Anime, hentai, same thing, right? I'm right, am I?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, it was really dull.
Yeah, it kind of, and it took precedence over the actual action scene. I mean, it wasn't a poorly constructed action scene or anything, but there was nothing going on in the background. The cars don't get even slightly battered because, you know, these cars are too pretty. You can't touch them.
Yeah, and there were sparks going there.
Yeah, even when he sets the other car on fire.
Yeah, it's barely, there was a little scratch there.
Scratch? There was nothing. The car just went on fire and then stopped being on fire afterwards. Because I don't even know what car was it? Was it like, I don't even care actually, come to think of it. Don't bother looking it up.
I don't care either.
It's a good thing Batista, was such an incredible actor. Really, really delivered the scene with such finesse. I loved all his dialogue. His dialogue was written incredibly well. Christ almighty, there are a few throwaway characters, aren't there, in this movie?
Yeah, Andrew Scott, for instance. I wanted to just talk about Andrew Scott as well. What did you think about his performance?
It wasn't awful, but it was
a bit wasted. I think it was wasted.
He was a very one-dimensional character. I mean, a bit wasted, yeah. Apparently, it was going to be Chiwetel Ejiofor, but he was too expensive. So they just took Andrew Scott.
Andrew Scott, is he cheap? I mean, he's Moriarty.
No, he's not cheap. He's not cheap, but Chiwetel Ejiofor is not cheap either after 12 Years a Slave, basically.
So let's get to the plot.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's get to the meat and bones.
Yeah. I thought it was so stupid when they revealed that the villain in this film turned out to be responsible for everything ever.
Yeah, they tried to do way too much with that without actually justifying any of it.
Yeah, he was just responsible for everything ever. Yeah. It was like every single scene from the previous 3 films is now his work. But,
yeah, I know, and they never actually demonstrate that. There's absolutely no demonstration other than they put a couple of pictures on a wall, like later on in the movie. That's it. There's no demonstration of it whatsoever, and it's all flimsily based on the fact that he just happens to be the head of an organization that they were all part of. The story is definitely the weakest part of the movie. They tried to do way too much because it's Sam Mendes' last film, and it might be Daniel Craig's last film.
No, it is his last film.
It is, but is that confirmed? Because people.
He has said that he doesn't want to do another James Bond film.
Okay, fair enough.
So unless somebody throws a lot of money at him, he's not going to do a 5th.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them.
Sure. I mean, they threw a lot of money on Iron Man, the actor. He didn't want to do another Iron Man, but they just threw a lot of cash at Robert Downey Jr.
Well, because the first film, they didn't even write a script for him. Him and Jon Favreau had to come up with it by himself.
Oh yeah, he improvised a lot.
Yeah, so he's probably just pissed off that the studio just didn't even write a script for him or anything.
Yeah.
He's like, this is stupid. I'm not going to work with these bunch of incompetent jerk-offs. And he went, oh wait, no, they're giving me lots of money. I'm okay with that.
But there were also a few things set up that I thought that were going to have better resolutions.
Well, like what?
Well, for instance, Q. He goes into this, how do you call it? Like one of those lifts that lift you up the mountain.
Telecabin.
Sure. Well, he's there, and then there are like a couple of people that come in, and they're like looking evilly at him with an evil eye, and then he just walks off and goes into the bathroom, and they just don't see him going to the bathroom, and that's how he escapes.
It was a pretty lame action scene, wasn't it? Yeah, the action is also not as good as Skyfall.
Yeah.
Really, like, oh my god, if they didn't have Hoyt van Hoytema, I would not have liked this movie anywhere near as much. But some of the stuff he did was amazing. He's the best like indoor cinematographer you'll find.
Yeah, and while what that was happening, meantime there was the utterly ridiculous scene with the plane.
Oh yeah, it was pretty silly, wasn't it? Right, he just keeps starting. He would just. I hate it when they do that in movies where it's like a plane versus a car, because what always happens is the car just decides I'm going to keep driving no matter what.
Yeah.
In exactly the same direction.
Oh yeah.
And this plane is just going to be allowed to just repeatedly hit me, basically.
Yeah. At one point, I think they actually split up, and then for some reason the comes back in, and there's no explanation. And actually, when the plane appeared, I was a bit confused. I thought that I would fall asleep or something, because I
just randomly came out of nowhere.
Either there was no setup of the plane, or I really just fell asleep.
Well, I think there was like a lack of continuity in the editing, but that was just brushed over, or that the editing created the continuity without it actually like logistically making sense. Like, as in the plane, I think the plane was somehow, or like, but the cars basically did a loop or something like that, but it's never really fully shown. So I don't think the environment actually let it do that, but they found a way around it, like in editing, or they just like did one scene of the cars turning around and then basically just turned everything around in editing. It's probably how they did it, but it was, I mean, even I was looking at it a bit like, well, to start, obviously like, oh wow, that's a lucky coincidence, because none of it was planned, of course. Yeah, I don't know, like, I'd have to watch it again. It's only one viewing.
Yeah, but I don't think I'll watch it again, though.
No, I'm not going to watch it again in the cinema. I might watch it again some other time. I could have seen it again, but I decided not to in the end, because my family were over and they wanted to see it, but I decided not to go with them because it was like late at night and I just needed some sleep. I just went home and I watched a bunch of, well, not on that night, but I've watched a bunch of movies more recently instead.
I'm thinking, well, is there anything more to say? Yes, the jokes.
They tried to overdo it. I don't know, like so Q's character changes in the movie, or like just for one instant changes. Basically, he becomes way more like of a neurotic nerd in this one, and he's not. Yeah. And it's not that the acting is bad, because he acts it well. It's just that in Skyfall he was at no stage does he's like throughout Skyfall he is made to seem like in control completely, whereas in this movie they suddenly turn him into like a completely neurotic, like nerd who obviously knows what he's doing, but who like steps out of place along the way, like that terrible joke he makes, and then like
it was one of the jokes, like when he looked at the mouse and with a gun and said, "Who sent you?"
Yeah. One
of my favorite jokes in this film was repeated in this. It's a fairly common joke. A lot of films have it. There was an establishing shot, and in that establishing shot there was both the London Eye and Big Ben, and there was a subtitle that read London.
Got to spell it. You do have to spell it out for some people, don't you? Christ almighty.
Who doesn't know where the Big Ben and London Eye is?
Oh, dude, this film's got to be marketed in America, man. It's not the most geographically sensitive country.
Eye. Guess where that's at?
It's in London.
I don't know, Paris.
It's in London, Paris. Yeah. Wait, is there's a London in America? It's obviously there. There's a London in Ohio and a London in Kentucky.
The lobotomy scene.
Oh, yeah, that's.
It was trying really hard to. Did you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expected you to die.
Yeah. And it also like tried to incorporate some of the stuff in Casino Royale where he's like where he's like the harsh lighting where he's like waking up and falling asleep again and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Or I don't know if they consciously thought that, but it was done in a similar style for a little bit.
Also, why did that crater explode? I missed that as well.
The crater.
Yeah, it exploded. You know, when they go inside, he has the lobotomy, and then it has no effect. By the way, the lobotomy has no effect.
Yeah, I know that was really dumb.
And then he runs away,
Well,
and then the house explodes.
he has an explosive watch, and then
Yeah, but it was such a small. No, come on, no, come on.
No, good question. I don't actually remember. Good question. Does it, maybe what? Actually, yeah, good question. I have no idea.
There were a couple of scenes like that where I just thought, did I fall asleep or did they made a mistake?
No, they must have said.
So there was the plane scene where the plane just suddenly appears and then cars just join up with the plane. Then there was this scene where they just explode. The house just explodes behind him for no reason. And then I think did I mention the third one? But yeah, there were a couple of scenes like that where I just thought, did I fall asleep?
They must have set it up somehow. I can't remember. It has been a little while since I've seen it. If I'd seen it the second time, I would have probably noticed it. It probably would have bugged me, or it would have been explained. I don't know. That was like the best and the worst part of the movie when they go to that place. The initial setup. Well, that meteor scene was fantastic. Where they go in the room, the way it was lit and everything. It gave me a little cinematography boner. Turning into a fly.
I don't agree.
You don't agree? You don't think it was good?
No.
You don't think that the best indoor cinematographer in the business did a good job? You don't agree?
It was okay, but it wasn't good.
The cinematography, or just the scene, like the scene itself, like the acting?
The acting plus cinematography, I thought it was just alright. I've seen a lot better. I've seen a lot better.
High standards, Jesus Christ.
No, but come on, just a minute earlier there was the scene where he's walking on the roofs and the camera is following him. Compare that, it was alright.
What would you mean, where he goes to shoot the guy and explodes the flats?
No, just before that, when the camera follows him, he goes right at the beginning. He goes into a hotel, goes upstairs, has sexy time for a little while, and then walks onto a roof, and then the camera follows him in the entire time. It was 3 shots, but yeah, those 3 shots were great.
Oh. That was, but that's in terms of camera movement maybe, but not in terms of lighting. I mean, lighting is one of the hardest things to get right, and really only Hoyt van Hoytema and Roger Deakins master it. And I mean, that was a fantastic example of it, I think. I agree with you in terms of kinetic camera work, but there's more to cinematography than just.
I know that. But I like that shot more.
No, yeah, that shot was really good as well. Yeah, but those kind of shots are a lot of it's to do with flow, obviously. Like and it's brilliant for that. But just in terms of an actually visually pleasing shot, you're not going to get much better than the meteorite scene. I mean, it's like not the difference, but it's kind of like the difference between good photography and good camera work, I guess.
Oh yeah,
that's brilliant photography. I suppose just a couple of angles added to it.
I agree with you. Yeah.
And it was a good set as well. I mean, not that it had to be completely.
It was just a black room with like a.
I know exactly.
But
the meteorite itself was very well done, and then the lights were all in perfect places, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The lighting was good. The lighting was good. Yeah. But by the way, you want to get this joke, but basically, when they walked into the room, they were like really amazed, and all I could think of is, oh my god, a giant rock.
Oh, whatever. You don't know anything about cinematography because you watch anime. You're just wrong.
Oh,
You're
shut up.
Wrong.
Shut up. No. Come on. I know.
Nothing. You're not a cinematographer like I am.
Are you
You don't understand the art form of cinematography. You just don't understand the fine arts like I do. I suppose I'm heavily biased because I really like Hoyt van Hoytema. Because he's fantastic. He's done some really great movies.
Alright, what else has he done?
So Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, Interstellar, Let the Right One In. He did Her.
Her?
Her, yeah.
The one about the guy who has sex with a computer.
Yeah, it's the only movie where that's happened. It's the one where Joaquin Phoenix has sex with a robot.
Yeah.
A robot Scarlett Johansson.
As a nerd, that film kind of insulted me a bit, but sure.
Okay. Yeah, but the cinematography was great.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was good.
Oh wow, you're fucking hard to please, aren't you? Jesus Christ. Fucking hell, what? Maybe stop watching these movies on a potato.
Okay, yeah, well, I'll stop doing that.
Stop watching these movies on a potato. Why don't you just fucking get your own theater like everyone else?
Okay, I will.
It's easy. All you have to do is become a millionaire.
I think I'll do it by tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Well, they'll give me a check. Definitely.
Your financiers.
Yeah.